I'm Anthony Manning, field meteorologist for A-Man Weather, and I'm here to give you an update on the severe weather expected to roll through the southern plains and the Midwest, as the potential for significant weather is there, including large hail, damaging winds, and some tornadoes, and potentially a significant tornado threat. Now, as we look into right now, we have some showers and storms rolling through the Texas area. None of these are severe right now, but as time goes on, we are expecting some wind threat to develop down here and potentially a hail threat. Now, as we look up here in Kansas, we have some severe storms going on. These are isolated cells going on. We did just have a tornado warning in the Wichita, Kansas area. That storm did not seem to produce a tornado, but this storm is moving east, and it does seem like it's weakening as it moves east. There is a tornado threat up here. The SPC did issue 2 slight risk areas up here in northern Kansas and southern Nebraska, and down here in far southern Texas. The southern Texas portion is wind driven and hail driven. There's more of a wind threat, I believe. As these push east, the wind threat will develop. As we look up here in the Kansas Nebraska area, there is a 5% SIG 1 tornado risk issued. There has already been a tornado warning, as I said, down there in Wichita, Kansas. But any storm that can get up in this environment and root itself will have a chance of producing a tornado, as they did issue a 5%. Which is still a low threat, but it's an elevated risk. Any storm that can come through this area has a chance to produce a tornado, but once again, still a low risk, but it's there. There's still a hail risk in both these areas. I believe it's higher up here, but down here there is a 5% hail risk, which I think includes quarters and golf balls. But up here in this area, I believe any storm that can really get going could produce bigger than golf balls, just because of the atmosphere is more potent up here, but they're isolated, so anywhere up here you're more likely to not see a storm than you are up here. As we look into the future radar, we can see that this bow segment down here in Texas really gets its act together and moves east. As this moves east and after sunset, these will begin to diminish, but not very quickly. They will slowly diminish and push east. Now up here in this Oklahoma area, the storms it seems like we'll have more development here as it pushes east. I'm not expecting much of a severe threat in the Oklahoma area. I would expect a really beneficial rain up here where they need it. So now when we look into our bigger threats, that starts tomorrow into Sunday. As you can see, we have this slight risk that runs from southern Texas all the way into central Oklahoma. This is what they call a conditional risk. Storms will not be widespread. They will be scattered and isolated. But this is the type of environment that any storm that does get going will likely be severe. I'm expecting maybe golf ball, if not bigger, in hail, 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts, and a elevated tornado threat. Right now, the SPC has a 2% SIG 1 risk, as you can see right here. But any storm, I believe, that can get going in this area will have the chance to produce a tornado. And I do see a significant tornado risk if their cloud tops can get big enough, because the environment these storms will be in are very potent. But once again, the hail risk is also there, as the SPC has a 5% hail risk all the way here, but it's a SIG 1, so that means significant. But once again, I believe any storm that can really get going in this area can produce baseballs, and the wind risk is also there, but like I said, these will be isolated. Not much of a wind risk. I believe a wind risk will come from the rear flank downdraft, these storms that shoot out this wind behind the storm, the cold air that comes out. Monday could be our first significant widespread day. As you can see, we have 2 slight risks, one up here in the Iowa, Minnesota area, but one down here in the Oklahoma, Texas area. Once again, I'll start down here in Texas, Oklahoma. This is just like Sunday. It'll be a conditional risk. We have our dry line set up right here. We have our really dry air and our really moist air, thin, sharp, dry line. Any storm that develops has the capability of being severe and potentially significantly severe. Once again, I'm expecting 80-mile-per-hour winds, golf balls, maybe baseball-sized hail, and an elevated tornado risk. Any storm that can get rooted has the potential to produce a tornado, if not a significant tornado. I'm not saying it's going to be a tornado outbreak, but any storm that does develop has the potential. So once we get up here into the Minnesota, Iowa parts, this will be more of a widespread area, because we're going to have our low pressure system right up here, along with a draped warm front, which just means this warm front will lift and the moisture comes up with it, causes extreme lift, and the CAPE, convective available potential energy, which is just fuel for storms, will be really high in this area because of that dry line and that moisture just lifting right there. It might be a cluster. It really depends on storm mode. It could be a cluster of storms, or if the wind profiles are just right, we might get some supercells in this area, but it'll be more likely of a cluster of storms. So I believe this will be more of a hail threat than a tornado risk, but tornadoes will still be possible. I expect golf ball size hail, maybe wind gusts up to 80, and a tornado risk. I wouldn't expect a significant tornado, but I would expect a couple spin ups in this area. So once again, conditional risk down here, more of a wind driven hail risk up here, widespread. Looking into Tuesday, we have a day 4 slight risk draped from southern Texas all the way up into Wisconsin, Michigan area. So this will be most likely a more of a widespread severe event along this whole risk, just because of that moisture and that dry line being thin across this whole thing. And we have 2 low pressure systems, one over the Rockies and one up here in the Midwest. That warm front will once again be draped in this area, will be draped, and I see a whole line of storms developing along this whole thing. But I see this. I see a couple supercells developing along in front of these bow segment line segments of storms in front of them, and just those supercells maybe along that whole line. But once again, that's a possibility, not a guarantee. It's still 3 days out, so data is very unclear right now. But Tuesday, many people could be getting severe weather this day, and rain totals will actually probably be really nice where we need it most. Wednesday, we also have a severe risk from western northern Oklahoma all the way up into Illinois, Indiana. Data is very unclear on these storms, but once again, this might be a widespread event just like Tuesday. I could see a couple, maybe a few supercells developing in front of a line, but this is still 4 days out, still very unclear. But if I had to make a guess right now, I would give it an elevated tornado risk, golf ball size hail, 70-mile-per-hour winds, but still very far out, a lot of details to sort out. But this is a great time to get your weather plan in place and keep an eye on your local weather stations as these storms roll through. We are in the peak of severe weather season, and this is when it's most important to watch out for. I'm Anthony Manning, field meteorologist for A-Man Weather, and I'm going to hand you off to Evan, talk about Christ.
Hey guys, this is Evan from Discovering Christ, and as we look on to this upcoming storm season and tornado season, we just need to be reminded about how God is in control of the storms and He's in control of our lives as well. Recently, Victor Glover, the astronaut on the Artemis 2 rocket ship, he said that there are no atheists in rocket ships. And I think that's kind of the same thing with storm chasing, because you look at this massive, beautiful, destructive storm, and you see that God is in control. You could see that the world, because of the world and sin, that we unfortunately have to deal with this stuff as tornadoes, but you can see that God has made this beautiful earth, and the tornado destroys them. That's kind of a metaphor for sin in our life. Jesus has control over you, but you have the free will to choose Him and follow Him and obey Him. In Matthew chapter 8, verse 23 through 27, Jesus, He's sleeping in a storm, and then in a boat, and the disciples, they wake Him up and they're scared, and then Jesus says, "Peace, be still," and the storm is calmed, and the disciples, they were just marveled at this, and they said, "What kind of man is this that even the winds and the sea obey Him?" Well, He's Jesus, He's God, and we should obey Him as well, and we should trust in Him even during the tough times that storm and tornado weather can produce.